know you're hoping right now I'm going to tell you that you don't have to track your food. But if you want the best results, you need to accurately understand what you're consuming. And most of us are really bad at estimating portion sizes and accurately remembering what we've eaten, especially when we're first making a lifestyle change. What is measured can be managed. If you don't have data, you don't know what to adjust. It can make you feel like nothing is working without knowing exactly what to adjust. When you track, you can make small changes based on what you're actually doing instead of guessing and feeling like you're throwing spaghetti at a wall hoping something sticks. However, I do think that a focus solely on calories in versus calories out when we track doesn't yield the best results, nor does it teach us to properly fuel our bodies for long-term success. Trust me, I've been down the calorie counting road. It left me feeling unfueled, low energy. It left me, constantly yo-yo dieting, losing weight only to regain it later because I wasn't actually understanding how I was fueling my body to get long-term lasting results. It led to me constantly yo-yo dieting because I didn't truly understand the breakdown of my food and how to create a balance and a true change. I'd create the deficit, lose weight, then increase my calories and regain what I'd lost. And even when I lost weight, I never achieved the body recomposition results I wanted. I'd get skinny, but I'd never look any leaner. So if you want to feel fueled while also achieving amazing body recomposition results, what should you be doing instead? You should be tracking macros. Now you're probably thinking, wait, hold up. Isn't tracking macros the exact same thing as tracking calories? And while yes, by dialing in your macros, you will also impact your calorie intake, it honestly isn't the same thing at all. Purely counting calories puts the emphasis simply on calories in versus calories out over the quality of those calories. And the learning process to actually looking at the breakdown of your food is what yields lasting results. It's amazing how much the amount of proteins, carbs, and fats you consume can dramatically impact how fueled you feel and the results you get from the same calorie intake. And it's because we've also fallen victim to the calories are created equal line. While this line is a complete oversimplification of things, and I know someone's going to comment about how a calorie equals a calorie because it's a unit of measurement, the point of that statement is that purely counting calories isn't taking into account the impact of each macro, and even our food quality overall, because that can have an impact on the results we get. And that by changing the macros of those 100 calories per se, we can dramatically change how we feel in our long-term adherence. The types of foods and macros we consume impact how full we feel, but they can also impact our performance, recovery, and overall hormonal balance. Increasing your protein intake, for instance, can increase satiety and help you feel fuller between meals. And whether you're plant-based or an omnivore, increasing your protein is a key place to start. Not only can it help keep you feeling fuller, but by increasing your protein, you can help yourself build and retain lean muscle even while losing fat. So if you've ever been told you can't lose fat as you build muscle, that's just not the case. It's just a process that requires us to be patient and track, something we don't like to do. And while I know carbs are often demonized in our current dieting world where keto is all the rage, simply cutting carbs for some may not only hold them back from achieving the aesthetic results they want, as carbs can create an anabolic environment ideal for muscle growth, but they can also negatively impact their performance. If you're trying to train for an endurance sport while also trying to lose fat, you want to be conscious of the macros you're consuming to make sure to get adequate protein to protect your lean muscle mass, as endurance training can be catabolic to muscle tissue, while also getting enough carbs for that instant fuel to perform. Simply treating a calorie as a calorie can be why you always feel like you're starving while training and not losing any weight. And simply treating all calories as if they are equal also ignores the differing thermic impact of not only each macro, but also processed versus unprocessed calories. Each macro requires a different amount of energy to be digested and utilized, which isn't taken into account when we just focus on calories in versus calories out. Studies have shown protein actually has a thermic effect 5 times greater than carbs or fat. Protein takes the most energy to digest, with 20 to 30% of total calories and protein eaten going to digesting it. Then carbs take about 5 to 10%, while fats take 0 to 3%. That's why you can feel so different on the same calorie intake based on the macros you're consuming. And then even how you dial in those macros can make a difference. I'm a big believer in that 80-20 balance. I believe that you should include foods that you love, even if they're not so healthy. And all over the internet, you'll see all these crazy, if it fits your macros food concoctions. So while we want to focus on that balance, you'll also find that when you dial in your macros, your food quality actually improves. Not only are you able to include a diversity of foods to get vitamins and minerals from a variety of sources instead of following a restrictive list that can often come with a focus on clean eating, but you really aren't able to just eat crap and hit your ratios. While those posts may show crazy foods people work in, what you aren't seeing is that lean protein and veggie meal they're also eating to make it work. And that balance not only allows for long-term adherence, but can help you slowly focus more and more on whole natural foods, even if your diet isn't as focused on them currently. By including more whole natural foods in your diet, you'll consume more nutrient-dense foods, which will not only benefit you health-wise, but also make you feel fuller. Processed foods, because of the caloric density, easily lead to overeating. Not to mention because they're hyper-palatable, you just want to, well, eat more of them even if you're full. Not to mention, processed foods have a lower thermic effect. A study which actually used 2 basic cheese sandwiches showed that by simply even using a more natural cheese and whole grain bread made a difference in the thermic effect. So even if these sandwiches both have the same technical calorie intake, because one has a higher thermic effect, your ultimate energy balance will be different. This is why we can't just focus on calories in versus calories out, but instead need to track our macros. You may be surprised by how changing up your macros without even adjusting your calories to start can get you moving forward, feeling fueled while achieving that lean, strong body you've always wanted. And by taking the time to truly learn about the makeup of your foods, you'll be able to adjust over time as your needs and goals change. We have to remember that even maintaining our results isn't about just doing the diet and then going back to what we were previously doing. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it, comment below if you have any questions, and subscribe. We're posting new videos each week.